Now, I would also just note that there's a history, and we talk a little bit about this in the What Mama book, that there's a reason, and I'm sure you've looked at this too, that young black women were sent away to be educated when they were growing up in the South, because the option was for the young women to stay at home and become domestics. And so many of them were being sexually assaulted, that the family said, whatever money we can scrape together, we're going to take our girls and get them out of here and protect them. So the young men might stay at home and work the farm or help, or stay in the community and work. A lot of the girls were sent away.
And we also have to look at our prison rates right now in terms of the number of black males that are in prison. That would certainly offset availability if they're not, and at college age.
And this, if I can just piggyback on what you're saying, this is something I've been thinking about in terms of black relationships. Because I really think if we had stronger relationships to anchor families, that is one of the places we would have an impact on prison rates. We know that there are injustices in the system. We know that justice is not colorblind. We know the laws are unfair, crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. We all know those things. But I also think if we had strong couples, strong parents, there's a stronger holding of those children, because mother and father are saying, I'll be waiting up for you. We're expecting you home at X time. Or your expectations of your children would be carried. So I think there are some things.
It has to be interrelated.
If
the
there's
breakdown
a way,
of the family structure as to the breakdown of the norms. You know?
You point to a section that's in the book that deals with research, and this guy named Glick talks about the marital squeeze, and talks about the number of available black males for females and how that number changes. And so that's more research that they're looking too about variables that folks use to select mates, and how the numbers impact choices. And what we end up with in the research section speaks about families having ritual or spiritual values that mean more than the money. It means more than the space that you live in. It means more than how one looks. It deals with something that the family, that the couple you mentioned, actually center themselves around. So if it was spirituality or religion, a form of regular rituals, that was more solidifying a relationship than all of the other material values, variables. And I think that's a critical component to look at when we talk about money, or we deal with the numbers of availability. The question becomes, where are you, for me, where are you spiritually? Where are you really centered? You know, because if you centered in some other space that's not, that is very transient, then we don't have a relationship that is solid. And so when we talk even also about this notion of healing, I was driving a car there a moment ago, and I'm going to swing right back to it. And there's a question in the back. The issue is, for me, is knowing the things that we've been through, knowing the issues that we're dealing with today. Even talking about the prison being influenced by the special ed programs, so black males are being targeted in special ed programs as well. So I already pulled off this availability market as relates to being equally compatible. But this idea of healing from a spiritual standpoint, and one of the things we talk about in spirituality and sexuality is that if the brother comes up to you and starts to say, hey, I want to hit that, you just pull over and say, brother, let's pray a little bit. I want to acknowledge the wounds through which I've passed. I want to acknowledge the issue of who we be in our essence. I want to acknowledge my grandmother, my grandfather. I want to bring all of them into this space so that when we come together, we invite them to be a part of this moment of what's going to happen. I want you to, and what that does is that changes the dynamics of the relationship. Because now it makes what we think of as our bump and grind, hidden, quitting kind of phenomena, sneaking and creeping, is now a spectator event. And everybody's involved. And if they can't be involved, then we shouldn't be doing the thing in the first place, right? The other thing that we talk about in the healing process is that we talk about this issue of the womb, and also the DNA that men carry. So we talk about how do we actually pray for the womb, and that's what we did. And every time I've come in here, I've said a special incantation for the womb. And what we do, what we talk about doing, is that I give honor to the womb that will bring forth life. So it wasn't just simply talking about, man, I want to get with that, but giving honor to that, and then the same for the DNA that will come to create life. It changes dynamics in relationships.
It does. It's deep.
So
there's so much that is deep and beautiful.
We only
have 5 minutes left. I got the signal.
3.
I was 3 minutes. Okay, but I can't let the 3 minutes pass without saying how beautiful and how rich and how deep the journey is that you take us on in this book. And this is a book that will absolutely change how we see ourselves in terms of love. And I think the core is what you were just saying about spirituality, because without that as the center of our homes, of our lives, of our being, we feel separate. We feel separate from the Creator. We feel separate from one another. And this is one of the things that is most beautiful. So you get the last word. We have maybe a minute. And whatever you feel is the most important thing you want to leave us with.
Most important thing that I can leave you with is we owe it to our ancestors to revere them. We cannot pay it back.
That's the story.
We cannot pay it back, but we can pay it forward. So we pay it forward by doing the right things, by saying that I owe you to be in this relationship. I owe you because of what you've been through. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Kevin?
Actually, she should close on the story about be that which you seek. That was the story.
We have about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
So.
All right.
That's it.
30 seconds.
Give it a shot.
The story is that when you desire a mate, you need to know that you should be that which you seek.
Yes.
And generally, women have a list of
Yes.
what they want in a man, but we have to look to ourselves and say, am I what I'm seeking?
Yes. And the same for men. Well, I want to thank you, Dr. Kevin Washington,
Thank
for
you.
illuminating us with your spirit.
This old broken heart, I think I believe I